Think about this. Tonight, somebody can download a dating app, upload a few pictures, give themselves a name, and tell you where they work, what they believe in, and what they enjoy. Also, what they're looking for. You started messaging. A few messages turn into phone calls. You become comfortable, and eventually, the app does exactly what it was designed to do. It gets two strangers to meet. But here's the question: how do we really know about the stranger on the other side of the screen? Welcome to Blu Mindz. I'm Blue Baby. Last episode, we talked about Universe 25. We talked about the human behavior, isolation, relationships, and what happens when the way we connect begins to change. Today, we're continuing that conversation because technology has given us more access to one another than ever before. Your next relationship could be one swipe away. So could your next marriage. But unfortunately, so could a scammer, a stalker, a robber, a predator, or in some documented cases, a killer. Today's episode is Match with a Killer. Are dating apps becoming more dangerous? This isn't an episode telling everybody to delete your Tinder, Bumble, Hinge, Facebook dating, or every dating app on their phone. Online dating works for millions of people. People meet, they fall in love, they get married. I've heard those stories, they build families. But the real question is, has technology made connecting with strangers faster than we've learned how to protect ourselves from strangers with bad intentions? And throughout this episode, I want us to consider one central question. Dating apps are designed to introduce us to strangers. But what responsibility do these companies have when the stranger they're introducing us to is dangerous? Before criticizing dating apps, we need to understand why people use them. The dating scene has changed. I mean, people working remotely, people relocate for whatever reason. We don't always know our neighbors. Some people, we just not going to clubs anymore. Some don't want to date their coworkers. And on the other hand, others are starting over after divorce, losing a spouse, raising their children, and spending years focused on their careers. At some point, people start asking, where am I supposed to meet somebody? Your phone provides an answer. Pew Research found that among recent online daters, 44% said finding a long term partner was a major reason for using dating platforms, while 40% cited casual dating. And those basic motivations didn't differ dramatically between adults under 50 and those 50 and older. Whether you're 27 or 67, a lot of people are looking for the exact same thing: connection. Wanting connection isn't the problem. The danger begins when someone learns how to exploit it. Now, let's answer the question people naturally ask: are dating app killings increasing? The responsible answer is we don't know. And here's why. The FBA tracks murders in America, but there is no separate national crime category calling dating app murder. One of the FBI's crime reporting system is called NIBRS, and that stands for the National Incident Based Reporting System. So the NIBRS collects detailed information about reported crimes, and that includes offenses, victims, known offenders, arrests, and the relationship between the victim and the offender. So it gives you that much detail. But it does not give us a standardized national category telling us that if they met on Tinder or any of the other Facebook dating apps. So a person might meet someone online, begin dating them, and later be classified in crime statistics as a boyfriend, girlfriend, acquaintance, or stranger. The original digital connection can disappear inside the larger crime statistic. And that's why I can't honestly tell you dating app murderers rose at 30% or that dating app murderers fell at 20% because we don't have a complete national data set that allows us to calculate that. And if we did, that would be awesome. And here's what makes the question even more interesting. Overall, murder in America has recently been declining, which is a good thing. The FBI's final 2025 statistics showed murder and non negligent manslaughter fell an estimated 18.1% from 2024 to 2025, with a murder rate of 4.1 per 100,000 people. Overall, murder is down. But are dating app killings down? We don't know. Are they up? We don't know. And maybe one of the questions we should be asking is, if technology has changed how victims and offenders meet, should crime reporting eventually measure that connection? Because you can't identify a trend very well if nobody's collecting the information, right? So, but while we can't measure the national trend, individual cases can show us that the danger is real. Sydney Loof on Tinder. In 2017, 24-year-old Sydney Loof met Bailey Boswell through Tinder. Boswell arranged a date with her. Loof was later murdered. Boswell and her boyfriend, Aubrey Trail, were convicted in connection with the killing. This is one of the clearest examples of a dating platform becoming part of how a victim came in contact with her killers. Khalil Willer Weaver. In New Jersey, Khalil Willer Weaver used dating apps and online platforms to meet women. He was ultimately convicted of murdering 3 women and attempting to murder another. He received a 160-year prison sentence. One of the most interesting parts of that case is that friends of one victim used social media themselves to help identify him. Technology helped facilitate access to victims. Technology also helped people expose the killer. Men are at risk too. Dating app safety is often presented as a conversation for women, but it shouldn't be, because in 2019, 25-year-old Kevin Bacon and Mark Latunsky through Grindr, Bacon was murdered. Latunsky later pleaded guilty and was sentenced to life in prison without parole. Then there's Chance Seneca. Seneca used Grindr to arrange a meeting with a young gay man. Federal prosecutors said he intended to kidnap and murder him. The victim did survive, but Seneca was later sentenced to 45 years in federal prison. Those cases make something very clear. Men are not automatically safe because they're men. Strength doesn't protect you from being drugged. It doesn't protect you from a firearm, multiple attackers, a robbery setup, or somebody who planned violence prior to you ever arriving. Women are at risk, men are at risk, LGBTQ users are at risk, older adults are at risk. The form of danger may differ, but nobody should assume that this couldn't happen to me. So, what about Facebook? Facebook matters in this discussion because people don't only meet romantic partners through traditional dating apps. They meet through Facebook, Facebook dating, Instagram messengers, and other social platforms. In a recent Detroit case, a woman said she met a man through Facebook dating and was later stabbed multiple times. Prosecutors charged the man with offenses, including assault with intent to murder. The victim survived, so this was not a homicide, but it still demonstrates how online introductions can lead to serious violence. The bigger point is predators go where people are connecting. This isn't one company's problem, it's a digital safety issue. Now, let's look at the age. Younger adults use online dating more often. Pew found that 53% of adults under 30 had used online dating compared to 37% of adults ages 30 to 49. 20% of adults ages 50 to 64 and 13% of adults 65 and older. That means younger adults generally have more exposure. And younger women report particularly high levels of unwanted behavior. Among women under 50 who had used online dating, 56% reported receiving unwanted sexually explicit messages or images. 43% experienced continued contact after saying that they weren't interested. 37% reported being called an offensive name, and 11% said they had been threatened with physical harm. So altogether, that means that 66% of women under 50 reported at least one of those 4 unwanted experiences. For online daters 50 and older, the numbers were lower but still significant. About 45% reported at least one unwanted behavior, and 4% reported threats of physical harm. So younger women appear to experience more harassment. But when we talk about adults over 50, another risk becomes extremely important: financial exploitation. Nearly half of online daters 50 and older told Pew they believed they had encountered someone attempting to scam them. And the FBI reported that Americans over 60 lost more than 7.7 billion to internet crime in 2025 across all types of online fraud. That number isn't romance scams alone. It shows how valuable older adults have become as targets: retirement savings, home equity, investments, pensions, long established bank accounts. And sometimes someone who is dating again after decades outside the dating market, criminals understand that. Romance scams usually don't begin with send me $10,000. They begin with emotional investments like good morning, good night, how was your day? Did you eat? I miss you. I've never felt this way before. And then comes the emergency. Their bank account is frozen. They're overseas. Their business deal went wrong all of a sudden. A family member is sick. They need airfare. Or suddenly they have an amazing cryptocurrency investment opportunity. The FBI has warned the romance scammers create fake identities, build trust and affection, and then they manipulate victims into sending money. So whether you're 25 or 65, connections should never require surrendering your financial judgment. Now, let's return to our central question that I asked you to focus on earlier. When an app introduces someone dangerous, who is responsible? First, the offender is responsible for the crime, period. Tinder doesn't make someone a murderer. Facebook doesn't create a stalker. Grindr doesn't create a predator. People make those choices, like you make your own choices. But that doesn't mean companies have no responsibility. If your business model is built around introducing strangers, is it reasonable to ask, like, what are you doing to make those introductions safer? One idea is background checks. So this is a couple of things that I thought about. Would that help? Potentially, but they are not perfect solutions either. A background check can only reveal what exists in the records being searched. Someone may have never been arrested. Violence may never have been reported. Records may be incomplete. So I would never want an app to make somebody believe that background checks means safe, because it absolutely doesn't. But what a background check does is the screening could become one layer of protection when combined with other things like identity verification, age verification, sex offender registry screening where lawful, strong reporting systems, and better detection of repeat offenders. Here's another idea. What if you couldn't create a dating profile simply by uploading pictures? What if you had to complete some form of live video selfie or liveness check? Not because the app needs to watch you, but because the platform should confirm a real person matching those photographs is actually holding the phone. Some platforms already use versions of this. Bumble uses photo verification. Tinder offers photo and identity verification tools. Hinge uses selfie verification and age assurance technology. Grindr also uses age assurance tools in some situations, but these systems still aren't perfect. And there are serious privacy questions around facial data. But I think it's reasonable to ask whether stronger live person verification should become more consistent across dating apps. Let's move on to talk about teenagers. We know that teenagers can lie about their age, right? A teenager can attempt to enter a false birthday. And that's exactly why simply asking, are you 18, isn't enough. Most major adult dating platforms require users to be at least 18, but enforcement matters. Platforms are increasingly using tools such as video selfies, facial age estimation, identification, and automated systems designed to identify accounts that may belong to minors. Meta has even developed technology intended to identify suspected teen users when the person entered an adult birthday. And that's imperative because children don't need a dating app to meet adults. They can be contacted through Instagram, Facebook, Messenger, Snapchat, TikTok, gaming platforms, and whatever platform comes next. So parents can't stop at don't download Tinder. The broader lesson here is don't secretly meet adults you only know online. Do not share your location. Don't send intimate pictures. And be extremely cautious when someone says, don't tell your parents about us. That is definitely a red flag, and that's when you should tell your parents. Secrecy benefits predators. I think there are several areas where dating and social platforms could improve. I mean, better identity and age verification, make disposable fake profiles harder to create, not impossible, I mean, difficult. Better detections of patterns. If one account is reported by multiple people for threats, robbery, stalking, or violence, those reports shouldn't look like unrelated customer service tickets. Someone should be asking, is there a pattern here? We should be looking for patterns to enhance websites. Make it difficult for banned users to return. A safety system isn't very useful if somebody can be banned today and return tomorrow under another email address. Protect location information. Apps may need general location information to match people nearby, but nearby shouldn't mean trackable. A stranger doesn't need enough information to determine your workplace, apartment building, or daily routine. Use location to make the match. Don't use it to create a roadmap to someone's life. What if dating apps required a small fee? Would that reduce fake accounts? Maybe somewhat. Creating dozens of fake profiles becomes harder when every account costs money, but money isn't a safety guarantee. A dangerous person can afford $10. A scammer hoping to steal thousands can afford a membership fee. So I wouldn't say paid apps equals safe app. I'd rather see companies invest membership revenue into verification, safety teams, fraud detection, age assurance, faster investigation of serious reports, and emergency cooperation with law enforcement. Companies can improve, but until every safeguard exists, we still have to protect ourselves. So here are some practical rules. Video chat prior to meeting. I cannot say this enough. I have shared this with many people that I know. Video chat prior to meeting. A video call doesn't prove someone is safe, but it can help establish that the person matches the profile. So these things alone might not resolve the whole issue, but together it can definitely make things better. So look for inconsistency. Search the name. Look at social media. Pay attention when the person's story repeatedly changed. So listen out for those inconsistencies. I mean, there's nothing wrong with putting someone's name into Google too. Scammers often try to move communication quickly to text messages, WhatsApps, Telegrams, or other platforms. You don't have to rush. Meet people in public. This is most important. The first meeting place doesn't need to happen at your house or theirs. Choose somewhere populated. I'm super scared to meet someone at my house. I don't want to be in an enclosed area with a stranger, someone that I just met. That's definitely not safe. And I wouldn't advise anyone out there that's on a dating app to invite someone to your house right away. You have to get to know these people. Remember, they're strangers. Control your own transportation. So have your own way home. So don't depend on them to pick you up from a location. You decide when you want to leave. Tell somebody where you are. Cannot stress that enough either. If you're meeting someone for the first time on a dating app, it is okay to let a family member or friend, just someone, let someone know where you are. Send a trusted person the profile, the name of the person, the picture, the location, and your expected check-in time. Protect your address and your routine. You don't have to tell somebody where you live, work, exercise, or where your children go to school before trust has been established. Watch your drink. Don't leave drinks unattended. That is a no-no. And avoid becoming so impaired around someone that you barely know that you cannot make decisions or leave safely. Pay attention to boundaries. Sometimes the most important information comes when you say no. How does this person react? A person who becomes threatening, controlling, or aggressive when you establish a boundary is telling you something. So pay attention to those red flags. This one is simple. Do not send money to somebody you've only developed a relationship with online. Don't wire money. Do not send gift cards. Don't send cryptocurrency. Don't allow them to move money through your account. And don't invest because your new online boyfriend or girlfriend suddenly has the opportunity of a lifetime. If someone says, don't tell your children, don't tell your bank, don't tell your financial advisor, stop. Love should not require financial secrecy. If you're over 50, being older does not mean you should stop dating. Of course not. I would never tell you that or give you that advice. Being divorced doesn't, nor widowed, nor retired. There is no expiration date on companionship. But if you haven't dated in decades, understand that the dating environment changed while you were away. Pictures can be stolen, fake profiles can be created, AI can generate convincing images, voices can be cloned, someone can research you before sending you the first message. So involve somebody you trust. If your daughter says, Mom, something isn't adding up, listen. If your son says, Dad, you've never met this woman, why are you sending her money? Don't immediately become defensive. Sometimes someone outside the emotional relationship can see what you cannot. Men, this safety advice is for you too. Men sometimes assume physical size or strength makes them safer, but physical strength doesn't protect you from being drugged, a weapon, multiple attackers, a robbery setup, or someone who planned the attack prior to your arrival. Kevin Bacon was a man. Chance Seneca's victim was a man. Older men have been targeted in alleged romance schemes. So men belong in this safety conversation too. So let's revisit the question. Are dating apps becoming more dangerous? After everything we've discussed, here's the answer. We cannot currently prove whether dating app killings are increasing or decreasing nationally. The data aren't collected in a way that gives us that number. What we do know is that killers, scammers, robbers, stalkers, and predators have used online dating and social platforms to find their victims. At the same time, millions of people use these services safely. Both things can be true. Technology didn't invent dangerous people. Technology changed access. A predator once had to physically locate potential victims. Now, people voluntarily create profiles containing their age, pictures, interests, approximate location, relationship goals, sometimes their occupation, family information. Then technology connects strangers. That is incredibly useful when both people have good intentions. It can become dangerous when one doesn't. So my final thoughts. Dating apps are designed to introduce us to strangers. What responsibility do these companies have when the stranger they're introducing us to is dangerous? And here's where I land. The criminal is responsible for the crime. The company is responsible for building the safest reasonable platform that it absolutely can. Verify the users, protect that person's location data, keep minors out, no minors allowed, take serious reports seriously, look for patterns, make it difficult for banned users to return. Law enforcement and researchers have responsibilities too. If online platforms are playing a role in a violent crime, maybe we need better ways of measuring that. Remember, NIBRS, the National Incident Based Reporting System. We already collect detailed crime information. Maybe one day we should also be asking, did the victim and offender originally meet through an online platform? Because better data can lead to better prevention. Parents have responsibility. You're not left out. You're not omitted. Know what your children are using. Understand how strangers can contact them. Create an environment where they can tell you when something online feels wrong. And finally, we have a responsibility to take reasonable precautions without blaming victims for somebody else's crime. Those ideas are not contradictory. We can say, meet in public. Tell somebody where you're going. Protect your location. Video chat first. Don't send money. Watch what you drink. Trust those instincts. And still understand, if someone assaults, robs, kidnaps, or murders another person, the offender caused that crime. Safety education should empower people, not shame them. So date, meet people, have your fun, fall in love if you find it. But remember, connection requires vulnerability. It does not require abandoning common sense. So keep that common sense. If something doesn't feel right, it's probably not right. And maybe the biggest question isn't simply, are dating apps becoming more dangerous? Maybe it's this. Has technology made connecting with strangers faster than we've learned how to protect ourselves from strangers with bad intentions? And if that answer is yes, maybe it's time for technology and all of us to catch up. I'm Blue Baby, and this is Blu Mindz Podcast. And as always, meet me here next Tuesday.